Hey everybody, Pixelblips podcast once again. Also from my office again with the new camera for E3, and we're talking
Today.
Sony.
Um,
So here's the thing. Sony coming into this had a problem, and that problem was one. Last year they blew it out of the water. Total S class.
you have to follow that up. That's the biggest problem. Is after last year, what do you do?
And they're riding on a sizable lead in the latest console.
Which I'm
cycle.
surprised they didn't actually say, yes, we've sold 10 million units or 8 million units or whatever.
Probably because it wasn't like they said 7 million a couple weeks ago or a month ago or so, and it might now be 8. And that's not that big of a deal.
No, but that's, I mean, when you compare that to their main competitor, who's probably sitting somewhere in the 4 to 5 range at this point.
The other thing is the main competitor mentioned them.
They did.
They did not mention the other competitors.
Not directly. They did get their dig in.
They got their dig.
About, like, they talked about the PlayStation Eye, and they're like, and this has been optional from the beginning. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And we're just like, wait a minute.
They even apologized. He even apologized for, like, it being sold out everywhere. Like, we didn't think you'd want this.
Yeah, we were like, we put it in because Microsoft's got one and voice commands, I guess.
Yes, they were like, and it turns out you guys really want it, so yay, we're making shit for it.
Yeah. You know, and
you're gonna have a new nightly desk. You're gonna have a new setup so you can do shows on Ustream.
Yeah, and the YouTube support they announced,
and
that's really cool because
YouTube,
then we can hook up our account to our PS4s and just dump gameplay footage if we wanted to. Thanks, Sony!
Thanks, Sony! Like,
awesome.
Congratulations! And so their problem was, everyone expected them to just walk away with this E3. So their problem was, don't fuck it up.
Yeah, no, it was totally...
It's really, like, it's really hard to tell people, like, when you are number one, or, like, when people have a lot of expectations on you, it's really hard to not fuck shit up.
And they didn't...
It's surprising. The pressure makes it so hard.
Well, and they have a new guy.
Yes.
Jack Trenton
left, so
he's not on there anymore. He was all over IGN though, or not IGN, game trailers.
Game trailers. So
he was
new guy. The thing is Andrew House came out. He's the president of the Worldwide Studios, so he handled most of the heavy lifting, and then they brought the new guy out.
Yeah, and he came out for a while, and it just seemed like he went on.
Yes.
Like that there was some drag in Sony's.
Yes. So we talked last time about like how Microsoft no drag. It felt good. It went in a steady clip.
It flowed pretty well.
Sony, however, slowed down.
Yeah, they had a fun little section in the middle, which
I really like Brian Michael Bendis.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy his work.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm a big fan of his work on Avengers.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of his work in Powers. When the announcement came that Sony had bought Powers to pilot, we didn't know where it was going to end up. If it was going to be a TV show like Community, or if it was going to be one of these only for PlayStation things.
Yeah.
They wanted the announcement that they are creating original content for PlayStation Plus, just like Netflix is, just like Amazon is, to be a big deal.
And that kind of is a big deal.
It is a big deal. The problem was it wasn't ready to show, and Brian Michael Bendis he's a great guy, but he just had the bad opportunity of people not being that into what he was saying.
It seems like that might have been the part that I walked out on, because I had to call my wife, and I was at work, so I was kind of doing stuff while I was doing it. Watching it, that seems like that's the part that I should have missed.
That's the part that dragged.
And
it kicked up at the end with the announcement of the Ratchet & Clank movie coming out in the first half of next year, and we're doing a Ratchet & Clank, the movie, the game, which going to be a PS4 game that retells the story of the movie, which also retells the story of the first Ratchet & Clank game.
Well, that's fine.
To which I say, good.
Good. That way you can introduce the entire Ratchet & Clank universe to a new generation.
Yeah, and going back and playing the old Ratchet & Clank games, the first one stands out because it has a weird health system. It doesn't have the upgradable weapons like all the other ones do. So add all that shit back into the first one and make it the definitive version of the first one.
Yeah. And then, what I've played I've only played like 1, maybe 2 Ratchet & Clank games, and I enjoyed them. They're fun little, action platformers, and like that series totally is. That is, I want to say Ratchet & Clank is like the new Crash Bandicoot almost. Like that is their kid-friendly mascot.
Yep.
Well, except for the little cat guy.
Sly.
No, not Sly. That's a raccoon. The cat, the black and white cat.
Oh, Taro.
Taro and
it's always nice to see Taro and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how did their press conference start?
They started with Destiny.
Yeah, so the lights started with that, and we're sitting there going...
Destiny comes up, and we got a lot more of the backstory of Destiny. I feel like they want Destiny to be this grand adventure wrapped around the multiplayer online shooter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and
it still looks cool.
It looks
still makes me want to play it.
Yeah.
I'm still really excited for it.
Are you going to try to get into the beta without pre-ordering?
The alpha.
The alpha?
That was the other thing that, like, Sony's like, we're so confident in this, we're going to let you play the alpha, download it on your PlayStation 4 at home, this weekend. What? This weekend. They did a lot of that shit. Like, it's ready now. Like,
or it'll be out today.
I felt like he was almost like Oprah. Everybody gets bees! Bees!
You get entwined! And you get entwined! And you get an alpha access.
And you can buy it now!
Yeah.
And you can play the Battlefield Hardline
But at least they didn't pull a Sega and go, hey, guess what? You can buy your Saturn today!
Woo!
But only at Sears.
Yes.
So yeah, they talked about Destiny, and that game looks really, really neat. It looks like, I don't know, I want to say it has like the Borderlands gun system where the guns are kind of procedurally generated.
It feels like the things I like about Halo without the things I don't like about Halo. Like the big space opera stuff of it, it's stuff I like, without the giant talking plant.
Or the crazy robot sex thing.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I'm sure there will be a giant talking plant in Destiny.
Probably. Who knows? So they talked about Destiny. They showed that off.
So then they bumped to Entwined.
Which, hey, that's out now for like $10.
Which is cool, because we just found out that studio existed through a New York Times article last week. And they're like, hey, not only is our game, we're working on a game, but it's done and you can buy it.
You can buy it tomorrow. Or today, actually. You probably could have bought it.
He literally said, like,
now. He's like they hit the switch when he said it.
He's literally like, you can pick up your cell phone and go into the PlayStation app and buy it now.
Right now.
Which is cool. That's cool.
Yeah, that is kind of neat for them to just be able to...
It's that type of thing that, like, it's corporate and stupid, but it's cool.
Yeah. I want to say that we had heard, like, there was some copyright digging around or whatever, and Entwined popped up a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, they Entwined, Bloodborne...
But we had no idea what those
names were. Names. There was, like, Sony trademarked these things.
And it turns out that Bloodborne was another game that we've heard about for a while.
It turns out Bloodborne was Project Beast. So
it's like the spiritual successor to the spiritual successor of Demon Souls?
It's the spiritual successor to both Demon Souls and Dark Souls. But see, that's the thing. Like, that was Sony's Xbox press conference, basically. Where everything in the Xbox press conference had been leaked. We knew about it. Bloodborne came out. We're like, oh, so Project Beast is Bloodborne now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've already known about it. We've already seen gameplay footage.
We just now we know we have an official name, and next year probably.
Yes. Oh, and a new Suda51 game, which Dave doesn't care about, but Andy likes Suda51 games because they're batshit crazy.
I mean, it looks silly as hell. I just don't.
It looked like a weird ass manhunt, but without pants.
Well,
I was like, why is he running around without pants this entire trailer?
He probably was woken up, and that's the whole thing. Maybe he was in bed, sleeping, he had a t-shirt and his unders on, and that's it. No pants. That
was the one weird thing that Sony did, was they oscillated between, like, family-friendly, full family
silly shit and serious.
Like, oh my god!
Yeah. They bounced back and forth between stuff, so they had kind of a weird flow problem the whole time.
One of the big reveals was Little Big Planet 3.
Yeah.
Which is a AAA title, which we didn't know about, except for the fact that you would know, like...
We assumed Media Molecule was working on it.
Yeah,
like, after...
Of course they're making a new Little Big Planet game, because why wouldn't you? Like, that's million-seller, very popular.
After the the Vita, I don't know how much they sold, but I had a hell of a lot of fun with Tearaway. Like, that's probably one of my favorite Vita games of last year.
The question is this new Little Big Planet Vita Molecule? Because one of the ladies on stage was actually from Sony London. And Sony London did Little Big Planet Vita.
Oh, so maybe it's not Media Molecule?
Yeah, maybe Media Molecule's working on something else.
Why would they give away their...
Another whimsical thing.
I guess.
But so
it seems kind of cool, though.
Like, it is cool. And it's cool because you finally have 4 different characters with different abilities.
You have, like,
the levels are designed to be everybody, and you have to work together, and...
Yeah, and my only concern would be, can you play this game entirely with just Sackboy, or just the bird thing, or Toggle, or I don't know what their names are.
And they continued the whimsy of Sackboy in the 3 new characters, and all of your stuff that you've already bought, that you've already downloaded,
transfers
that you've already made for Little Big Planet, transfers over. in the new engine,
which makes sense because I mean
new designs.
It's probably a very similar engine, and it's not hard for them to just transfer all that stuff into the new one.
It's a switch.
Yeah.
The big reveal was this holiday season.
Yeah, that thing's coming out this year.
We came into E3, like, the Order 1888 had moved back.
We knew that wasn't going to come out this year.
That wasn't going to be
but they did show some pretty good gameplay for that, too. And that game looks... That game is like Van Helsing, the game without Van Helsing in it.
Yeah, that looked really good. That looked like a mix between Gears of War and Resident Evil 4.
Yeah,
and the scariness of Resident Evil 4, Gears of War.
With the shooting, the not
with like Sherlock
shooting.
Holmes.
Yeah.
Thrown in for good measure.
Yeah, it looks really, really neat. I'm interested to see more about it. I would like to see... Like,
that's going to be next spring.
Yeah, that'll be out early next year.
We didn't know what's PlayStation going to have this fall without that, and it turns out...
And Little Big Planet 3 is coming out, so that's good.
I'm much more likely to buy than Order 1986. Or 88, whatever
86, whatever it is, yeah.
But,
The Order. We'll just call it The Order.
The Order.
Yeah. And it looks really good. I'm happy about that.
It looks really good. It looks really cool.
Not a lot of Vita stuff. We were
surprised we had Vita stuff at all.
Yeah, I mean, really, honestly, the Vita is... I don't want to say it's abandonware. It is a great companion to the PS4, and that's what they built it as.
That is exactly what they're treating it as.
They're treating it as that. They're not treating it as an independent console so
like,
much. They did say they had like 100 titles in
There's
progress.
There's indie games coming. There's a new Tales game coming.
Yeah.
They showed, like, apparently Devolver Digital, like, all of their games are coming to PS4 and Vita.
Yep.
So, Broforce. It's funny to see Shuei Yoshida changed his Twitter tag to Bro Hey Broshida.
Yeah.
Which is cool. It's always fun. That's the one thing Sony always does really well at their press conferences is they do a really good job the year round of making their executives seem like normal people.
Yeah.
So that when you see them on stage, you're like, oh, it's Shu. It's not the president of worldwide studio development. Like, it's Shu.
Yeah, they have a good time.
So Sony always has that. Like, a lot like Nintendo has Shiggy and My Body is Ready.
Yeah.
Reggie. My Body is Reggie. It's very, in Iwata, like, Sony's done also a very good job of developing that culture where Microsoft, sorry, Phil Spencer, you're still a guy in a suit. No matter
even though he's wearing a Limbo t-shirt on stage.
How many indie developer t-shirts you put on, you're still a guy in a suit. Like, you still talk. You need to build that rapport with people.
Yeah, a little bit. But, you know, I was super surprised that we even got any Vita stuff at all, though. Like, I was hoping for a couple of nice reveals for the Vita. But, you know, I'm happy that they talked about it at all.
Miami, new Broforce, like, the independent games are going there.
Yeah.
And they're talking about, like, this is going to do PlayStation Now.
And that's the other big thing. Like, the PlayStation Now, that beta starts soonish, right?
It's already in beta. But you can get in the closed beta. The open beta starts at the end of July.
Yep.
So basically they were saying, hey guys, it's going to be free at the end of July. And we're going
until it's out of beta.
Until it's out of beta. And then we're going to figure out how we're going to charge for this. Because it's very clear publishers probably want it on a rental per title basis. Sony's like, no one's going to pay for that. It needs to be like Netflix.
Yeah, it needs to be a monthly thing. That would be nice, right? Like, to have... It would suck that it would be, you know, another $8 a month or whatever.
Yeah.
But
if it was $8
if you're paying for
month,
GameFly already, this is kind of like GameFly without waiting for the mail.
Yeah, if it was $8 a month and it works just like Netflix, where it's not like brand new movies are out that day on Netflix.
No. There'll be games that are at least 6 months old, would be my guess. Yeah. Even though most of them are going to be PS3 titles anyway.
They already said over 200 titles on the service.
Already.
Which
is great. Because
so $8 a month, and you have an instant game collection of 200 titles.
Plus your actual instant game collection that you can download.
Which they didn't talk about. So this is, I'm pretty sure at this point, the instant game collection is devolving into 6 titles.
We're gonna get two per system per month.
Yeah, 2 for the PS4, 2 for the PS3, Vita, and 2 for the Vita. And you get whatever, when you sign up, you get those games that month. Like, I think that's the way they're headed.
You think they're going to just start lopping off all those old PS3 games?
They already have started lopping off.
Well, yeah, because Uncharted's gone. I think.
The Ratchet and Clank is gone.
Yeah, which, if you already have them on your account, you still have them, so you're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to be 6 new games a month, and then there's not going to be like that stable of like 8 or so games.
I think it's going to be like $50 a month gets you PlayStation Plus. $8 a month or $10 a month or $15 or how much they want to charge for it.
You mean $50 a year? For
$50 a year.
You said month, and I'm like, whoa, sir.
Yeah, $50 a year for PlayStation Plus. And then on top of that, it'll be whatever your PlayStation Now
$10. And in the Now,
and that's
probably
if it works out. If it works out on a per rental basis, and it's like you already own Hyperdimension Neptunia Victory on digital, so you get access to that through PlayStation Now.
That would be kind of nice.
That would be cool.
Yeah, like if you bought the digital version of like Infamous Second Son, like I did, it'd be great if I could actually just play it off of that. But I can do that with remote play anyway. But it just doesn't work very good over the
older titles.
I know. I'm just saying,
like it'll be interesting. I think the worst way PlayStation Now can end up post beta is what I believe the publishers want, which is you have to rebuy every title on PlayStation Now. Yeah. And that's it.
And that would be. I would think that would be unacceptable.
That would be
probably kill the service.
That would be pretty much the death of it for Sony, and I'm sure Sony doesn't want that.
No, they're putting a lot of time into it.
The cool thing about this is that Sony came out and said, hey, 2 months, PlayStation Now for everybody.
Yeah, for open beta.
For beta.
Which is great. Like, everybody gets to try it out for a couple of months.
Those are the things that, like, these are the reasons PlayStation really stood out.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they had the slow parts that dragged.
Well, and then they had that whole section in the middle where they had the different, like, letters that people were writing in and things like that.
Oh, Grim Fandango, did you
hear?
Okay. So,
oh my god, it was so funny the way they did that.
Here's the funny thing. So, like, they do the reveal at Xbox of Crackdown, not Crackdown, of the beta for Halo Guardians.
Yes.
Crickets. Except for the people that are paid to be on the screen.
Yeah.
Crickets. Sony does the Destiny reveal, they're all this, like, first on PlayStation stuff. You hear the people scream they're supposed to scream, but pretty much crickets.
Everybody else is kind of like, whatever.
Okay, so they do this letter reveal, and they're talking about,
It's like, I'm a little girl.
What game was before Grim Fandango? It was like an indie game?
It's a Schaefer game, who knows?
Anyway,
but the girl, it was like supposed to be this 10-year-old girl, or 12-year-old girl, and she's like, I would love to play all these old games, but I can't because then I'd have to pirate them, and that's not very nice. and then at the bottom it says,
age 10.
Age 10. It's just like, wait, she was 12 a minute ago, and then they have like a thumb.
What is
and then there's knuckle hair on that thumb, and then they kind of pull it away. And you see Big Man Hand, and it's like Tim Schafer, and we're all like...
Tim Schafer, everyone was like, what? And then he goes, Grim Fandango, HD, PS Vita, PS4. People went crazy!
Lost their goddamn minds. I was so happy. Because I've only seen... Like, I had a copy of Grim Fandango back in the day, and I never understood it, so I never really got into it. And then, when I finally got into that game, and I really wanted to play it, I could never find it, and getting it to run on current, like, PC hardware is just impossible because of whatever.
Like, and that was one of the games that Tim Schafer said
if he ever got a chance to remake,
was owned by LucasArts, so they didn't have it through Double Fine. Well, now Sony is using their buddy-buddy relationship with Disney to get things like Hulk Smash first on PS4 and Disney Infinity. And
I think it's also coming to the Vita. I think you're gonna
the rumored Spider-Man appearance in Avengers 3, the movie, rumored. And now they're like, okay, well, let's get some of that LucasArts.
Yeah, let's get some good old games. Oh god, so Grim Fandango, whenever it comes out,
in my mind,
I will pay $40 for that.
In my mind, Grim Fandango comes out, everyone's excited for it, and then they're just like, okay, so now Day of the Tentacle, Maniac Mansion, Full Throttle.
It'd be so.
What else do you want? Like the Indiana Jones, the Chronicles of Atlantis. Yeah, like
all those.
We're
games,
scumming this up.
Yeah, and that'd be so great for them to do. And those kinds of games lend really, really well to the Vita in particular because of the touchscreen, and then it's just like point and click with a mouse.
And
but you could also do that with the 4. Yeah,
the Vita's getting Tales of Borderlands. That was announced.
Yeah, well, we kind of knew that. We've known about that for a while.
Because every other...
No, we've officially known about that for a while. That was just something that they...
Oh, no, we just knew about it for PS4 and Xbox One.
I think they also announced... Well, they also showed The Walking Dead. Season 2.
So Vita's Walking Dead Season 2.
So Telltale's putting a lot of their stuff on the Vita as well, which is great.
What's that one with the werewolf?
Wolf Among Us?
Wolf Among Us, yes. The Fable Wolf Among Us is coming out for Vita. So they talked about Vita a lot more than I thought they were going to.
I know.
I'm sure with
even in passing, that's the thing. Like it wasn't.
We expected it to be nowhere.
No, yeah, and we said in our Microsoft show that they never they didn't really talk about the 360, but there's a lot of those games that are also coming out on the 360.
Yes.
So, like, a lot of the PS4 and PS3 games that are coming out are also coming out on the Vita.
The one game that's not coming out on the Vita that is coming out on the PS4 that I just wanted to dry hump my TV when I saw it, No Man's Sky.
That game,
my god!
Procedurally generated world.
I think like that's what I wanted. Remember when Homeworld came out?
That's what Homeworld.
That's what we wanted it to be. And I was
that's what I was hoping EVE Online would
have been. TV, just like.
It's the art style. I'm not too terribly like it looks cool, but it's a little too pink for me. But I think
but that changes per world.
Yeah, every world is a different thing. Like it is procedurally generated from the life, the inhabitants.
Your grass might be yellow. It might be blue.
Your sky might be green.
You might not have grass.
It might be a desert planet or
total
ice
water planet.
Yeah, like. It is. Hey, help us discover the universe that
this procedural engine can build.
And
I was just like,
that is the coolest thing ever.
Amazing.
And I can see why that's not coming to the Vita, and I'm really bummed out about it. But I can see why they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but I would want like a star map on my Vita or something.
Yeah.
Like
they might do a second screen type of deal, or for your tablet or whatever. That would be just amazing. That game looks. I'm so excited about that game.
And the cheers for that were crazy too.
Yeah, because that game we really hadn't seen a lot of.
And then they do the new game from that game company offshoot.
Mm-hmm.
Abzu, I think is how you.
There were parts of the Sony conference I missed. So.
And basically, it's a new Journey type game, but you're a scuba diver. So they show really cool video of like the scuba diver going against big blue whales, and I'm like, that's really cool. It looks 2D maybe, but there's also types that show depth. So I'm really interested in it. That's coming this year. And I'm, once again, really excited, as always, for the big... You okay, Ginger? What are you doing?
This dog's walking around on the bed.
Yeah, she's looking really weird. Anyway, I'm really excited for, like, Sony, once again, giving money and for these kind of weird games.
Yeah, like, and indie titles are a lot of fun. I'm still waiting for Rogue Legacy to come out on my Vita so I can play it at work, but...
They had that in the trailer.
That was in there. That was in
their PS3.
There was also games that they didn't talk about in that Sizzler trailer.
What?
I saw like half a second of Kingdom Hearts, which they didn't mention at all.
Well, Kingdom Hearts 2.5.
Or was it?
That's true.
Because Square didn't come out at all in Sony's press conference.
Square didn't show up, which I was really weird. It was really weird, and I think that's because Square's going to show up at the TGS press conference.
Well, and they probably have their own booth to show stuff on.
The last couple of years have taught me that like the Sony E3 press conference isn't everything Sony has up their sleeve.
No, they have a lot.
You have to go to Gamescom and TGS to get everything.
Yep. And it's I don't know. Sony had a really good.
How cool was that Far Cry 4 demo with the elephant?
That was really cool. Like both.
That was awesome.
We had seen Far Cry stuff from Ubisoft.
But
they only showed like the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
It's basically you're on a bus, the bus gets taken over, the bad guy comes out, and whatever.
Yeah, this was like
I think this was multiplayer. I'm pretty sure this was the multiplayer bit.
And game sharing on PlayStation 4. If you have the game, you can invite your friends to come play with you.
Even if they don't have the game.
Even if they don't have the game.
Now, they may have to download all the crap, and that kind of sucks. Which, you know what? That's not something that's entirely unheard of.
Because, like, back in the Game Boy days,
on this scale...
How many times did you have a Game Boy game? Like, you had Tetris, I didn't have it, we couldn't play the 2-player mode. Or I had Rally X, you didn't have it, we couldn't play the 2-player mode.
Here's the thing I was going to say. This isn't something that's entirely unheard of. It's just not on a AAA big game scale.
They did this on the PSP,
and they did it on the PSP, and they've also done it on the GBA, like the Four Swords, where you could play the Four Swords game. So it's not, it's not unheard of. But that is a really cool idea, right? Like your buddy can download the game and play the multiplayer with you. Now, granted, he won't be able to play the single player.
Yeah, he won't be able to go as far as. I don't think they. I imagine they can't go away from you. I imagine there's like a bubble.
They have to stay within 200 yards of you or whatever. But I mean, the way that they showed the demo, the guy was on the side of the mountain, he was running, and then all of a sudden it says his buddy shows up, and now he's in like a helicopter shooting at dudes from the sky. Yeah. Which was kind of neat.
And he jumps on the helicopter, jumps off the helicopter, an elephant runs over it. It was just crazy.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like, Far Cry has always looked really, really good. And
that's this year.
And that will be out the end of this year, and that'll be out on like everything.
Yes. So then we got into the drowning part.
The slow part.
With flowers and stuff. It was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, Naughty Dog. Last of Us Remastered, which looks like a whole different game.
Yeah, it does. And
it looks amazing.
I really want to try to convince my wife to let me rebuy that game, but
I'm going to buy it. You can borrow it.
Yeah, just don't buy it digital like I've been doing.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it on disc. Anyway, and then Grand Theft Auto 5. PlayStation 4 remaster.
It's also coming out on the Xbox One and the PC.
You can bring your Xbox 360 character over. You can bring your PlayStation 3 character over.
Because it's all Rockstar servers. Yeah.
And it looked awesome. I'm so glad I waited on that game.
That game should have been next gen. It should have been.
So glad I waited on that game.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I borrowed it from a guy I worked with, and I played the first couple hours, and Grand Theft Auto is Grand Theft Auto, so, you know, there's no filter. Everything is said. It doesn't matter. Like,
yes.
Just know that going in. But it looked amazing.
How good did the new Batman look too? That was during this part of the
oh yeah, the
like
Arkham
going from cutscene to game, like no
almost
transition.
seamlessly. Yeah. The tank mode kind of threw me off a little bit.
Batman.
You have a
where does he get those wonderful toys?
Strafing tank. It was cool though. Like the new Batman game looks good. Having not played Arkham City or Arkham Asylum, I find myself at a slight disadvantage when it comes to.
And I really don't care about Batman. I'm a Spider-Man guy.
Yeah.
I'm a Marvel guy. Okay, so wrapping it up.
So Sony came out, and we knew they were going to drop something on us. We didn't know it could have been.
They always do that. One more thing before we go.
And before we're gone, here's one more thing. And Nintendo did it too.
Yeah.
But God damn it. But
okay, you can cry later.
It could have been the Nintendo one could have been Star Fox, and it kind of was.
Okay, so the big reveal that we're pussyfooting around. Uncharted.
They showed in-engine footage from the new thing, and
oh my god!
It shows
foliage. Oh my goodness!
It shows Drake getting up off the ground like he just fell out.
I guarantee you Sully dies in this game.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
I thought Sully was going to die in the last game.
Yeah, no, he probably totally dies very early on in this game, and it was probably that lady who played by
2015 holiday, and he's so excited! Yay! Sony wins press conferences forever.
No. If they had shown God of War and Uncharted.
That's true.
That was the other one. Like we were expecting either Uncharted or God of War.
I was expecting God of War before I was expecting Uncharted. But I'm so glad Uncharted came.
Well, and you know what? We don't even know. We really don't know what Sony Santa Monica's working on.
Everybody panic! They're working on the order with Ready at Dawn. Anyway.
But I mean, we don't know what they're
So what is your Sony grade?
It's hard to follow last year, right? Like last year was one of those. Not as good as last year. One of those.
But one of those, the planets aligned last year.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely a low A, high B.
Yes,
it's not. It's
I'm
not
right
a.
there.
It's not a fan. It was
like there's a little bit of red in your paper, buddy. I did bring out the red marker.
That slow middle section was pretty terrible.
And how you bounce back and forth from stuff all the time.
Yeah,
is very dizzy.
The flow was really weird. Like if you had all your kid-friendly games in one bat, and then they had like a questionable one, and then they went over to those.
It would have been cooler if they had said PlayStation Now. They instead of in 2 months.
Well, I'd rather have it in a month and a half anyway, or 2 months.
Well, I'm gonna try and do. They have this thing on the PlayStation.
Where you have to like
do. You can do like E3 like scavenger hunt thingies.
Yeah.
And you can get in the closed beta. I'm like, I'm going to do those things.
Yes, you will do those things because why not?
Yeah, why not?
You have time today.
I have time. I'm off. Okay, so I also say high B, low A. Congratulations, Sony. Good job. This is probably the solidest E3 we've had.
Yeah, like last year's Microsoft was such a disappointment for us.
And so was Nintendo.
And Nintendo's was pretty much a disappointment. I don't like how they don't have the big stage show, but I understand why it makes sense for them to not.
We'll get to that. We have another show.
Yes, I know. I got it.
Okay. See you later. We're back with Nintendo. Oh, God.